Hey, Prince. Just give me a second. I'm going to share the links. A couple more minutes, guys. We're going to get this show on the road. Just going to pause the song. Hey, and welcome to another edition of the SHIB 50/50 Raffle. So, how is everybody? Big shout out to Prince Williams. Woo! Big shout out to Babe's channel. Big shout out to Jason. Massive. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? We'll get the theatrics out of the way. So we have a little bit of a dip, if you haven't noticed, in the markets. We have a little bit of a dip on SHIB. It's at 27,905. We do have some information on the new what do we got? Got some more information on wallet holders. So we did obtain more wallet holders here. I'll bring you in right here. So we're at 1,464,188. I'm going to update the web page. Just give me a second. I'll update the website on the holders. Okay, so in the last 2 days, we've gone up 2,400 new wallet holders. So that's awesome. So we didn't lose, we gained. So that's a positive sign. The bank here in Canada, the bank interest rates went down by another 50 basis points, which is it's good and bad, right? It's going to help with the lending rate, but at the same time, it is pretty much anyone know what stagflation means? That's where we are at with Canada. We're in stagflation. So stagflation means that you have basically zero growth, but the economy is floating around. Okay, so it's not in a depression and it's not in a recession. Well, it's in a recession. It's just not in a depression. It's in that gray area. A lot of people think that it is what it is. But anyway. Okay. So we'll get right into today's session with a couple of shout outs to everybody, and we'll say God bless and thank God that Jason's out of the hospital. Woo! Right? So helping pray and making sure that he's okay. That's our number one concern, right? When we're part of a family, that's what we try to do is promote promote SHIB, but we want to make sure that our family is looked after too, right? So that's a huge part of it. So you want me to get into the Etherscan? Let's get into the putting your money where your mouth is, right? So yeah, so we look at the Etherscan. So Etherscan, SHIB token, right? Proof is always in the pudding, guys. So we want to make sure we got the proof. So we have 1,464,188 wallet holders currently. So we're up like 2,000 in the last 2 days, 2,400 in the last 2 days. So we're not doing too bad. We expect to see around 5 to 10,000 every hour to 2 hours coming in. So when we start seeing that, we're going to start seeing some massive differences in SHIB's price. Is it going to be good for SHIB? It's going to be awesome for SHIB, but it's also going to be the downside because you're going to see more people going out than coming in, or vice versa. So it's going to have huge swings either way. So it's a positive note anyway. So, and we'll get into the burns. Like I said before, we like to share and make sure that everybody understands what we're coming from when we say that we're 100% transparent. So when we host the raffle and the events, this is what we want to see because this is where we're going to be spending most of our time is with the raffle and then giving the rewards out and then burning the SHIB supply. So the 1 hour, we've burned 10 million SHIB, 10,100,000 SHIB. 11 hours ago, we burned 1,738 million SHIB, 1,738,828 SHIB have been reduced in circulating supply. That adds value every time we reduce. So no matter how much we reduce, we are adding value to SHIB circulating supply. Every organization, every company, and I don't care if it's nonprofit, profit, doesn't matter. Once they catch on to it, everybody's going to start doing it because everybody's going to benefit from it. Reducing the circulating supply, and they're holding an enormous amounts of it. That's exactly what's going to happen. Everybody's going to take part in it. It's just a matter of when. We just don't know when it's going to happen, but we're going in the right direction with the amount of wall holders that we have. Let's see what we got here. Come across the wire. We'll go right into this. Okay, so for the exchanges, anyone that's new to the channel, we bring this up periodically. We don't talk about it a lot. We should be talking about it more. This is where you could come and literally check out the rankings, coin rankings, and see the exchanges and how much money that they're making. And you'll see the number. Hold on, we'll get right into it. The number 1 through 50. Okay, so we have Binance, and they did $31.2 billion today on Binance. Crypto.com, $9.29 billion in transactions, no sales. So that's people selling and buying on their exchange. Coinbase Pro, $8.66 billion today. Bybit, $8.21 billion today. OKX, $6.2 billion on their exchange today. Whitebit, number 6, 600, 6 billion, 6.10 billion. Gate.io, 6.01 billion. Upbit, 6.01 billion. And this is money that was transferred on their exchange and off their exchange. So it gives you some sort of indication of like how are they faring with the cryptocurrency in total, right? So it gives you an idea if they're dealing in 6 billion, 8 billion, how much SHIB they could possibly buy, right? Enormous amounts, but they're not. Okay, so Binance is holding about 80 trillion. Crypto.com is holding about 65 trillion SHIB. Coinbase has, I think they're around 1.4 to 1.5 trillion. Bybit, same idea. It's around 1.2, 1.1 billion. OKX is sitting at the 11 to 12 trillion. Whitebit, I haven't seen them on there. Gate.io is about 8.2, I believe, 8.2 trillion SHIB that they own. And not that they have to step up their game, but if they want to take control of the situation, they would have to increase their holdings by a fair margin. So if Gate.io is holding 8.2 or 8.3 trillion SHIB, they would need to up it by another 11, 12 trillion. Okay, so give you some idea if you want to take that market capital away from people, right? And then they could just trade it off their exchange. So that was one of the benefits of doing this. And remember, they don't own that much. If you think about it, each of these, like BitGet doesn't own very much. MEXC, they had 600 billion or 700 billion. Now they only have about 4 to 500 billion. So they're being weeded out. And you notice the price of SHIB is not going down, it's going up on margin, right? So that tells you just how much they have taken off of the market. Bitmart hasn't done anything. HTX is up there, but it's around the 2 trillion mark. BitHub, CurrencyCom, KuCoin was in there, but I don't see their name anymore. Shiba Inu was in there, but they've taken their name off of it. Gemini's not in there. Challenge Pro, Bitfinex, Bitstamp, they're not in there. Bitflyer is in there. They have about 3 trillion. Coin One, they're not in there. Thornchain, they're not in there. XMO, not in there. Kraken is in there, but I don't know exactly because they were at 1.2 and now they've taken their name off. So I'm not sure where they fit on the totem pole. Flipster, I haven't seen Flipster on there, or VALR. I haven't seen them on there either. So Uniswap, I don't see them on there. So that means that either they're not taking part in it or the customers that they have are moved on to other exchanges. And that's possible because Uniswap is expensive to do transactions on. OX Protocol, I haven't seen them on there. Dodo, nothing. Trader Joe, no. Quick Swap, nope. Pancake Swap, nope. Base Swap, nope. FMEX, nope. Bitrue, nope. NDOX, okay. Deepcoin, CoinWX.com, and P2B. I haven't seen them on there either. So what does that mean? That means if they wanted to take control of it, if you just go down the list, each one of them would have to buy at least 20 trillion SHIB to take part into focusing on selling on their exchanges for their country. So in other words, if you want to take part in something, you have to have a liquidity pool so that you can buy it and sell it. And if you're reducing the circulating supply, that means you're adding to your value because you're holding it. Yes, you're lending it out to them because you're selling it to them directly. So you've already paid the gas fees. You've already paid those fees on top. So now you're able to compete with Binance. You're able to compete with Crypto.com. You're able to compete with Coinbase, BitBuy, OKX. You're able to compete with them because you hold the supply. You're able to compete with Robinhood, even though Robinhood's really, really tight over their amount that they're trading back and forth. That's because they bought it at tens, eights, sevens. They're the ones buying it, trying to create fear that it's selling and that trying to create fear that it's not worth anything. And guess what? Every single one of them try to do this because they want to buy it at nothing, sell to you for a premium. And they want to make money doing it at the same breath, right? So please take that with some knowledge on your own, right? So we get into the educational part. So what am I missing? What didn't I talk about? I talked about everything but. Hey, Gary used. Hello, everyone. Yeah. Okay, Gary, disclosure. Thank you for coming. Big shout out to Gary. Disclosure. We'll look at Gary in a minute. Gary Networks. Everything is selling off on really on nothing. It's just because it's in the foreign markets. And so if those markets aren't doing well, that's usually what happens for their dollar. If it's depreciating and China came forth 3 days ago and said their economy is not doing as good as it should. Well, we all know why. But I mean, what's going on with Trump and what's going on in the States, and the projections for SHIB are high. Okay, so we've had a lot of people come in, talk about 1700 prediction. I hate predictions. Why do I hate predictions? Jason, do you know why? Prince, why do we hate projections? Projections don't mean anything, right? You predict the future, but it doesn't mean anything because no one knows what tomorrow brings. That's exactly it. And with SHIB, it's got so many variables. Any one of them hit a little bit, and it gets word that SHIB is removing its circulating supply from its once everybody finds out what the benefits are, right? That's why I was asking about the AI project, was to find out how you guys would vary on what was being said with the AI or ChatGPT or any chat or open AI or any one of them, right? So if you ask the two questions and give me some feedback and see what you came up with, because on ChatGPT on number 5, or when I asked again, it was number 1, right? SHIB's already doing this. It wasn't coming from me; it's coming from ChatGPT. So, and then the other day I asked it; it was number 5 on the list, saying that SHIB is already doing this, and by removing its circulating supply, it has huge benefits. There's only one thing that was negative, and that was that the fiat currencies from all over the world could ban it because it's a threat to their fiat currency. You got to think about it, right? It's like gold, except with gold, instead of finding more, you're reducing the circulating supply of gold. All of a sudden, demand goes high. That's exactly what SHIB is, right? It's not. We can't replenish what we've taken out. We can only go down, not down in value, up in value, down in the amount of supply that's available to the people. And then name anybody who doesn't want to make money. Just name them, right? 8 billion people on the planet. You only have 1,400,000 wallet holders holding SHIB. 8 billion people, 1.4. It tells you how early you are to the punch bowl. You're extremely early. How early? Well, that's debatable. But it will catch on that you can reduce the circulating supply, that organizations can get paid to reduce the circulating supply. It's just a matter of time before they find out. And like I said, Robinhood, BlackRock are already doing it. Binance just started doing it. Remember, they burned 4 point something billion SHIB. Yeah, so that's a write-off to them. So, and they're holding on to 80 to between 75 and 80 trillion SHIB. So when you reduce that much supply and it's not their money, the government's actually giving them money to reduce that. It tells you just exactly how far it can go. Imagine that every organization, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, NVIDIA, if they all started doing, Tesla started doing it, and then Elon Musk using SHIB to actually fuel his goal to get to the moon, right? Because he needs the funding, because it's a lot of funding. Well, he could get the funding from the U.S. Congress by reducing the circulating supply of SHIB, would increase the value of it, therefore would give him the amount of money that he would need if he put enough money into SHIB. And he has the money to do it. The thing is that would he do it? That's the thing. Right now, SHIB's sitting around $18 billion market cap. That means for $18 billion, you could buy SHIB. Literally all? No. Because you have to go down the list. How many of them are willing to sell it? If you knew that 4 billionaires were trying to buy SHIB, and you knew that they're buying it from you, would you sell it to them at this price? No, you're not. And then it comes down to greed, right? I'm not going to sell it until it gets to 1 cent. I'm not going to sell it until it gets to 10 cents. I'm not going to sell it until it gets $1. I'm not going to, exactly, because they're trying to buy it, and you know they're trying to buy it, so therefore it's guaranteed to make you money. You just don't know how far they're willing to bid up the price before they say, no, I'm sorry, it's just getting too expensive for me to even look at. Exactly. But from a perspective of people, everybody has 20, 30, $50 roughly. Majority of people in the world don't have $40 or $50 that they can spend on SHIB, but they don't need to. All they need is a couple 100,000. I mean, a couple 100,000 SHIB for basically a loaf of bread or a candy bar. Hello, right? That's what you got to weigh in, right? It costs more to open a bank than it does to buy SHIB. That's the truth of the matter, right there. So not everybody can afford to do it, but everybody should be taking advantage of it. So there's 8 billion people on the planet. How many of them can actually afford to do it right now? I would say about 6 billion people on the planet that can afford to do it right now. The other portion, they can't even afford to open a bank account. Okay, so got to take that into with a grain of salt. Now, El Salvador is using Bitcoin as their currency. So just give you some idea, they can't afford to buy very many Bitcoin at $100,000, but they could buy enough SHIB with 10 Bitcoin that they were looking at, or 20 Bitcoin, or 30 Bitcoin, or 100 Bitcoin that they were looking at. They could easily buy how many SHIB with that? That's a lot of SHIB, right? You're talking billions of SHIB for 100,000, a couple $100,000, right? So it just gives you a perspective of just how far SHIB's going to go, but we have no idea when it's going to take off. And disclosure, I hear you. We'll get right into Gary Networks. I don't like talking about other currencies because that's the reason why is because the only one that I stand behind and support is SHIB, right? I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Where are we here? Technical difficulties. Did I close that window? Oh no. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on to your hard hats. We're going in. We're going in deep. Going in deep. Okay, so we'll share the link. First of all, we'll share the link. And we're at 27,953. Now we were at, I think we were a high of 2836, but I believe it was a little higher than that. 27,945. We are climbing a little bit. We're bouncing off of that low of 27,561. So we're in that range. We'll look at. So we find it. So hold on, disclosure. I got you. Okay, so Gary is sitting at. We'll share the link. And disclosure was looking at me when I told him about DOT. It's expensive but cheap. And it's true. I mean, compared to Gary Networks, it's expensive. You look at DOT is $9 and something cents. But it's cheap compared to what it was, $56. But it only touched it and then came down. Like most cryptos, they have these big run-ups and then they drop pretty quickly when people realize that, hey, wait a second, and then it's got to level off. But it has a massive run-up. So Gary Networks, and he's getting 10%. Is that right, disclosure? You're getting 10% yield on this? Market cap 6.4, volume is 423,000. Okay, it's got a market cap of 6.57 million. And do you know who runs Gary Networks? Because you know it's not decentralized, right? I love it when they say decentralized. Oh yeah, it's decentralized. It's okay, whatever. Do you have governance? Well, yeah, it's got a CEO. And you're not. I'm sorry, it's not decentralized. It's not deflationary. It might be decentralized in your eyes. It just in mine, it does. No. If it's got a governing body, it's a tough sell. So yeah, Gary is sitting at 1 cent. So it's 1.377 cents. So it's in the green today. But you got to look at the volume. It's 423,000. Like, you don't want to be. There's two things that sell a market: volume, because volume tells you a lot about a company or an organization. Volume tells you how easy it is to get in and out. So with a volume of 4,023K. So it's 423,000. Thank you very much for volume for the day. That's not good. Okay. Like, if you look, I want you to look at SHIB. Okay. Volume 6.7 trillion in volume. High was 28,369. And you look at trading volume and it's up there in the millions, right? Like, that's no undertaking by far, right? That's hundreds of millions of dollars being in and out. So if for you to make money in SHIB is like and take your profit, you can easily do that. You can have a billion SHIB, 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion SHIB. You'll be able to move that really quickly in and out, no problem. And that's the beauty of it, disclosure. And that's why other currencies that have a governing body, untrustable, because it fits into that category of stocks. And you're more attuned to buy stock than crypto. You're going to say to me that, well, no, because if you buy stocks, you're not going to get the turnarounds that you do in crypto. That's true on the bull runs. But once the bull run is over, you don't want to be anywhere near these, because they'll go right back to half a cent or lower, right? So you got to be careful with. That's why I said when covering these, I don't like covering them, because if something happens, someone says, well, you said something about it. It doesn't have enough volume to keep you interested in it. Disclosure. That's the problem I have with it. If you look at Dot's got hundreds of millions or 10 million or 13 to 14 million in transaction fees a day. So you can see why I like it. It also is around 9% yield. It was at 12.7 when I was looking at it. I'm thinking about if it goes any higher, I'm going to unstake it. Because I expect Dot to go up to where it was before, around that $50 range. Max out around $50, $80, $90 this time around, only because of what's going on with Dot. They're spending a lot of money. No, not going to sugarcoat it for you. They're spending a lot of money, but they're spending it in the right places right now, on their games and on their platform, because they want to go with layer 2, and then they're on their web 3. So the web 3 is already running. Their layer 2 blockchain is going, but it's not working efficiently the way they want it. So they're still working on it. That's why I said they're still spending money on it. It's going in the right direction. Now, getting away from SHIB, we don't want to get away from SHIB at all. So we're not able to host the raffle tonight, guys. I'm so sorry. We didn't sell any tickets, so we can't host a raffle. We need to sell 21,000 tickets to host a raffle. So this becomes an educational tutorial for the SHIB community. So I was a little vague on tonight's what's going on with tonight. And I'm late for coming, and I'm sorry I'm late for coming. But with the shopping network, no, I'm not on looking for stuff to buy on the shopping network. It's just that the wife wants to get out. We got some parties coming up. She wants to take part in those. So I had to go get her an outfit. So take it with a grain of salt. So that's why I'm late coming. Sorry we can't host a raffle. I love to host a raffle every night for you guys. I want us to grow as a community. Absolutely. I want us to sit down and see what is going on here. Sharing the wrong information. That's what's going on. So the website, everybody knows the website, right? Everybody knows the website, so we'll go to the website. 22 hours for the next draw. So we're on every night. We talk about SHIB. We have some fun. We roll it back a little bit. We laugh a little bit, have some interactions, do a little bit of back and forth, come up with new solutions that we can how we can do this. Like I said, the predictions were for 1,700. Yay! A 1,700 gain. That's awesome. Someone mentioned $5. I think that's Cal, part of the ecosystem development team. I think that's hilarious. Their numbers have gone up, guys. Just so that you know, they hit, I think it was 14 million transactions on Shibarium. What does that mean? Well, they forked it. They hard forked it twice, so that's 8 times. So they would have to turn, before we see any burns, we would have to do almost 1 billion in transactions a day. Almost. I think it's like 300 million transactions in order to see that 15,000 magical burn of SHIB. Give you any idea how much that is, right? That's from the Shibarium ecosystem development team. Like I said, they hijacked SHIB's name and then used it to benefit themselves. It's not fair. Well, it's, SHIB's not owned by anybody, and they just took it on themselves instead of really thinking about what's going on. They could have just focused on SHIB, never mind the metaverse, never mind and just focused on reducing the circulating supply of SHIB, and came up with their own exchange, bought all the SHIB that they could get their hands on, 100, 300 trillion SHIB, and then sell it to everybody, and then buy it from them, and then use use a little portion of it, 1%, 2% from that, and then reduce the circulating supply of SHIB as a discount. But again, like hindsight being 2020, this is why it's so important to get educated in a currency that's reducing its circulating supply, because people just don't understand it. That's the whole point. And they were in it. Like they bought 12 trillion SHIB. They had 12 trillion SHIB at one point. Now they're dwindled down to 2.7, 2.8 trillion. Like, hello, because of their ecosystem development team. They spent a lot of money exercising their right to hold to account their own currency. But the problem is that you've got too many fish now in the same bowl, and they're getting bigger, and there's no place to put, like, it's they're all governed by the same people. So if one falls apart, they all fall apart. You understand what I'm saying? So if you go on here, you look at this SHIB circulating supply removal, that's your burn wallet address. You go over here to the 100 wallet holders, you click on it, it'll take you into the Ether scan. You go here, no, this 100, no, this will take you to CoinCarp. Okay, this is the top 100 wallet holders in SHIB. You go here, this is going to take you into the Ether scan. It's going to show you how many people are in it. So we like to keep everything on the up and up, right? So everybody can follow suit and everybody understands what is going on with SHIB. Why do we love SHIB so much? Because it's reducing its circulating supply? No, because it's going to grow a community that's going to be worthy of something eventually. Well, no, it's going to be worthy of something immediately. That's why we love SHIB so much, because it's immediate. Okay. Others haven't caught on to it, and that's the truth of it. You just have to listen to a couple influencers. And how many of them talk like I do? Not one. They talk about the charts. They talk about stuff that's, in my opinion, is a trader's perspective. That means they're looking at it from a trading perspective, not a long-term investment. And what is the first thing you hear from them? We're long-term investors. Well, if you're a long-term investor, why are you talking about getting out? Right? The first thing they talk about is how far it's going to go and how much money am I going to make and what point am I going to get out of it. Well, that's not a holder. That's not a long-term investor. That's someone looking to make some money and get out. And you're missing the point. SHIB is about, yes, taking profit. Absolutely. Everything you do is taking profit. But nobody knows exactly. And that's the thing. If someone came up and said that Jeff Bezos was teaming up with OpenAI and they're going to look into doing a logarithm to reduce the circulating supply of SHIB so they can buy as much as possible right now so that they could trade it off on AI so that they could see if they could get the bot or a few bots or a million bots to just move SHIB back and forth every single day as people are trading it. So they're just adding it. And then every time that they make $15 to $16, it's going into a kitty to reduce SHIB circulating supply. And if it's doing that every 15 to 20 seconds, $15, it's not going to take long before it adds up to a lot of money. And again, this isn't their money. They already have this amount of SHIB. And then they're just using the bot AIs to reduce the circulating supply of it. Now, would that gain attention? Not right away. And what happens when people see a big reduction in SHIB circulating supply? They sell it. Mentally, they don't know what that means. So if you had something that everybody wants, you take it away, there's no more left, it should drive demand. It should drive the value. But people, mentality-wise, think that that's a bad thing, like instantly a bad thing that's against them. So they sell. The truth of the matter is that is when you want to start what? Thinking about, if it dips, I can get back in. I can buy more. So as soon as it dips 20, 30%, and same thing happens with the marketplaces, right? So marketplaces like to manipulate it. What do? They try and drive fear into the markets, saying that, oh, it's dead. Just last week, we had the same thing with the CEO of Ripple talk about their currency, and on 60 Minutes, which was a huge mistake. And then to save face, the CEO came out on Tuesday, Tuesday, and said that he was giving away Ripple instead of reducing the circulating supply. When you're governed, reducing circulating supply means nothing. Zero. It's less than nothing, because that puts you in a position where you're probably going to have to mint more tokens just to get by. Because you go into a slump where you're like, we're not making it's like advertising. It's hit and miss. You advertise over here on TV, and if someone doesn't like what you're doing, they sell it. You're out all that money that you use for advertising, and then you're like, oh crap, now I got to think of another place I can start advertising so I can gain what I just lost. or fix what they're saying is wrong, whatever it is I'm selling. That's the truth of it, right? So that, and we don't like that. I mean, we've dealt with that before in the past, where we rely on the information that's given by companies, and all they do is they withhold the truth from you. They don't lie about it. They just don't tell you what is going on with that company at that time, and then they start falling into a trap. They can't pay their bills. They can't do this. So then they issue warrants, they issue rights, they reverse stock split. All these things are negative on the exchanges, right? So that's why I got out of it. And I was like, hey, wait a second. SHIB is where I want to put my money, because it is literally a guaranteed. Anything that reduces its circulating supply, adding value all the time to its value. Like we looked at 10 million SHIB being reduced. How many are there right now in the world? How many currencies are reducing their circulating supply? Did anyone ask their AI? Did anyone go out there and look at an AI platform and ask them, what are the benefits of a currency that's reducing its circulating supply? That's your first question. Second question was what? How many currencies are reducing their circulating supply? And the answer is SHIB is one of them. Now the other one's going to come up is Ethereum, Binance, but Binance is an exchange, Ethereum is a blockchain, and they're both governed, right? So very important for everybody to understand what's that all about. So again, we didn't sell the 21,000 tickets, so therefore we turn this into an educational platform, and we wait for the next 24 hours. If we still don't have any tickets, we just keep going with the educational platform. We try and keep it so that we don't cover the same information over and over, but we do the exact same protocol. We do tell them about, because we want to keep that integrity. So it's very important to us for the integrity. So we want to make sure that everybody knows where they can get the Burn wallet addresses. We want to make sure that everybody understands where they can find the SHIB wallet holders. We want to make sure that everybody finds the top 100 exchanges or wallet holders that are holding SHIB. Because if you look at the top 50, they're holding 53% of the total supply of SHIB, which tells you a massive, and how many are there that are exchanges. And you look down the list, that's five to six out of 243. Hello, I don't know how I can wake you up any faster, but at any given day, this could explode in your face, and it'll easily go 10 to 20x. Easy. Why? Because they're realizing now that they can make money off of you, the investors that are buying SHIB and selling it. And billions of transactions are happening all the time, in and out. That's a lot of money they're missing out on by not taking part in it. So that is why I said to you that at any given time, SHIB could just explode. Now, what's the downside? The downside is that they're not finding out about it. And that's why you're blessed. Every one of us are blessed because we're able to buy it at this price or lower, right? So that's a massive undertaking, and that deserves a round of applause to everybody that's in SHIB right now. So with everybody being in SHIB, that's what we're gearing up for, is to build out a family community, and that's why we do this. And that's why I want to make sure that everybody in the world gets this information. It doesn't seem like they're getting it, but I know with time and determination and devotion, it will happen. It's just a question of when will it happen. I could talk about other influencers. I've talked about other influencers in the past, and their focus point is on burns. And that's not a problem. Burns do help, okay? Reducing the circulating supply does help. But what do we want to see is we want to see people start taking advantage of it themselves, right? Because it's no fun to watch banks become richer. It's no fun to watch billionaires become trillionaires. No fun to watch multimillionaires become billionaires. It's fun for them, but it's not fun for the rest of us. And we want to see the rest of us. We want to see all of us take part and be part of a massive organization because we have that chance to be our own bank at some point, if we can stomach it. When you start seeing the money flow, that your account is going up by $30,000, $40,000, and you're like, I'm only one step away from it going right back to where it was before, right? So, and that hurts. So what happens is you start taking profit. It doesn't matter who you are. You're just human. You have to be in a coma not to take profit, right? Unless you sat down and said, I only have $20. I only invested $20. It can go to the moon for all I care. I'm not touching it until it gets to $5. And I might believe you until it hits 5 cents. Because when it hits 5 cents and you're holding 1 million SHIB, anyone have any idea how much money that is? Anybody? Okay, so wherever you are in the world, that your fiat currency hits 5 cents, just 5 cents on a million SHIB. Okay, so like at 10 cents is $100,000. Okay, so you're sitting at $50,000 in SHIB. Every cent that it moves, every cent it moves is how much money? 10 grand. I want you to think about that. 10 grand. A cent is $10,000. So it hits 12 cents, 120, 110,000. Yeah, 120,000. So every cent is 10 grand. So yeah, you can say what you like, right? That boils. Every time it goes down, you lose $10,000. Every time it goes up, you make $10,000. But do you have the stomach to actually ride it out till it gets to $1, $2, $3, $5? Now, if the banks catch on to it, it'll rise so fast, it'll make your head spin and you won't know what's going on. And then you'd be like, well, I don't want to sell it all. I'll sell a portion of it. That makes more sense to me. But because it's going up so fast, so rapidly, it doesn't give you that chance to put your mind at ease or think about it. But if it's going up by half a cent, quarter of a cent, tenth of a cent, it starts to weigh on you as it starts to rise above that. And you can say what you like. That's a lot of money, right? So then you have to reduce the amount that you'd have to pay the government. So you'd have to, not saying you will, but it's in your best interest to reduce the circulating supply so that you don't have to pay as much taxes to the government. And everybody will be doing that in SHIB, except for who? The banks won't be doing it. The banks will be hedging you to take your currency away from you. And they have no problem with you reducing the circulating supply of SHIB, driving the value up. When they're sitting on 100 trillion SHIB. And they're going to do the same thing. They don't need that money. What's going to happen with it? It's going to get funneled in and reduce the circulating supply, so it drives up, but it won't be their money. Okay, so you got to get that through your heads, right? It won't be their money. What it'll be is the money that's used for fees. That's the money they're going to use to reduce the circulating supply of SHIB. So they're going to charge somebody X amount of fees, and then those fees are going towards, a portion of it are going toward the reduction of SHIB. It solidifies them. It solidifies us as part of the whole process. So companies that don't want to make money, how many of them don't want to make money? How many people go out there and say, oh, I like losing money? It feels good to lose money. None of us like to lose money. So that's why SHIB is going to be a huge benefactor in this huge run-up. And why they haven't caught on to it? 1.4 million wallet holders only, guys. 20 million wallet holders, you think the price is going to be where it's at? No. 50 million wallet holders, the price is going to be where it's at? No. Nowhere near it. 100, 200, 300, 400 million wallet holders, 500 million wallet holders. If we can get 500 million wallet holders to 1 billion wallet holders, I guarantee you SHIB is around $4 or $5 instantly. And they can say what they like about the amount of market there is. It's still not enough to pay off the debt load that we've acquired thus far. We're at 72 trillion and climbing every second. We're climbing $300,000, $400,000 in debt. SHIB is nowhere near doing 3 to 4 seconds 100,000 worth of SHIB is being bought in. So the offset doesn't match the what's going on in the deficit. Exactly. And that will eventually happen, guys. It's just a matter of time. Anyway, I'm Will, your host. Thank you so much for coming, guys. I really appreciate it. Big shout out to Prince. Big shout out to Babe's channel. Big shout out to Jason Cox. Big shout out to Disclosure. I thank you. Thank everybody. Make sure you bring everybody in as much as you can. We like to get this whole, 9 billion people, 8 billion people on the planet. We'd like to get a billion people, billion followers. Remember, this isn't financial advice. So please take it with a grain of salt. The people that you hear about, the predictions and stuff like that, they say they're professionals. When they give you big narratives and don't give you facts behind it, like I give you facts, I tell you where you can look, what's going on. I share with you the information. If they don't share information, they're just talking, and they're not analysts. They're not people. They're just people coming up with their own scenarios and their own prospects of what's going to happen, but they have no fundamentals behind it. I give you the fundamentals. I share the scenarios. I broadcast them so everybody can understand them, and I try and educate every single person that comes in. And that's why we are different, and that's why we differ from all the other people coming out. I like to get into charts, but the problem is there's so many people out there that's into charts. And when you talk about charts, you're talking about short-term investing. SHIB is not a short-term investment. SHIB is a long-haul investment depending on your time horizon, right? So like a lot of people think, oh, it'll be good in 20 years. Shake your head, man. Just shake. Bitcoin took 10 years and it reached what level? $20,000 in 10 years. SHIB is 4 years running and no one's caught on to it yet. They were in it and they got out. And once they understand what's going on, they're all going to come back in to solidify themselves. And every coin that's out there, 4,000 coins on the marketplace, are all, if you want to solidify yourself, you'll have to buy SHIB. So they all have to come into SHIB just to solidify themselves as a top coin that's got some integrity. Some, not very much, but they got some integrity. So when you think about it, 3,000 coins, and they're all going to have to buy SHIB at some point in order to survive. That tells you something. That tells you a lot about what's going to happen in the future. So I'm Will, your host. Thank you so much for coming. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you, Jason. And we still pray for you and your family that you're home and go through a quick recovery, okay, my brother? So that's awesome. Love to hear it. And we're getting closer to Christmas. So we're not going to wish anyone Merry Christmas just yet or Happy New Year, but we are getting close to Christmas. So make sure you drive safe. Take your time out there. There's a lot of people not happy about the economy. So just keep your head on. Keep your head on straight. Don't do anything silly like look through your phones. I know that's what we do, right? We get calls, we get text messages. Just don't do it at this time of the year when there's so much traffic out there and they're all looking for deals and bargains. Yeah, not a good idea. Anyway, drive safe, be good, take care of yourselves. Love yous all. God bless you and have a great and wonderful night. All right, guys, we had a great session. Woo! Pump it up, right? And tomorrow we'll look into, what do we look into tomorrow? There's a few articles out on SHIB, but they're, again, so-called analysts, and they're giving some price predictions. So maybe what we'll do is we'll run down and we'll see how much BS they're full of. Just keep shoveling. Right, guys? Anyway, God bless each and every one of you. Have a great, wonderful evening. Cheers. Peace out. Regulated market. Woo! Breaking news, 1700. 1700%.
What are digital dentures and
$28